probably the highlight of the show, of the events this year. We will have Skyler Anderson present the Highland Hall of Fame.
I presented this award this fall at the Banquet National Gathering in Michigan. And I didn't know what I was going to say. Wing it, was my approach. And Gina came out, thank God, printed out a write-up that Bill Trampett wrote. He's a past ACA board member, super good guy, school teacher out in Montana. And the neighbors of Tom and Cheryl Larsen, who are this year's nominee for Highland Hall of Fame, they're sitting right over here. So believe me, I'm going to do some ad-lib. I'm sure I won't be able to stop myself. It's a long letter and it's a good one, but it's written by Bill Tramp, and I'm going to read it because it is good. Tom and Cheryl make their home in southeast Montana on a dryland ranch that borders Wyoming to the south. The nearest hometown is Alizada, 30 miles northeast, with a population of 23. I forgot. Gina told me something on the way in here that I should ad lib. Tom, the last time he was in Denver, besides this year, was it 58 or 50 or when? 51 years ago, he was an 11-year-old boy up here with his father delivering a load of horses. Was the last time he was here, and been a cowboy his whole life. It hit home for me when I thought about that. Population of 23. In 2017, over 91,000 cattle and over 20,000 sheep were reported in that county. The most recent census counted the human population of Carter County at 1,415. That's about one person per 2.5 miles and about 64 cattle for each person. For comparison, Alaska has about one person per square mile. Tom Larsen's father, T.K. Red Larsen, was born and raised in Montana. He stationed in England during World War II, then on furlough, and traveled in Scotland. He saw his first Highland cattle, where he immediately determined the Highlands were adapted for the eastern Montana climate and landscape. Red and his wife Alice purchased their first Highlands in 1948 from Baxter Berry in South Dakota, the first guy to ever register them, I believe. George Holmes and Jesse Shue. They helped import a load of bulls from Scotland that would have been off the rail lines, and assisted with the organization of what was then referred to as the American Scotch Highland Cattle Association. Red and Alice signed on as farming members of the association in 1950, and Red served on the board of directors. Red Larsen passed away in 1963, and the family kept a few of their favorite Highlands, but raised mostly sheep for a time. Tom, the oldest son, took over the Highland business. When I first met Tom, and this is Bill Tramp talking, it was obvious that he was a natural on horseback and a skilled cattleman. I didn't know at the time that he had earned the National High School Saddle Bronc Rodeo Champion Award in 1963. He went to drive a stagecoach for a season in Europe for the Marlboro Company. For the two following seasons, he toured with a group that put on rodeos across Europe. He participated in professional rodeos for years and was eventually introduced into the Montana Professional Rodeo Hall of Fame. And if you guys ever seen those old bagpipe issues, he's the guy that raised that bucking bull, the Highland, right, on the front cover of one not too long ago. Tom's wife and partner Cheryl grew up in a busy rodeo cowgirl who gained tremendous experience in ranching business when she ran 400 head of Highland cattle on her grandfather's large ranch in Arizona for 5 years. That wasn't Highland cattle. She is a real cowgirl. This was before the time she moved to Montana. During one of her visits, she told me she learned to trade horse from her grandfather, who was one of the best. She also told me she was looking for the Marlboro man, who she literally found in town. Somehow, she was able to find time to be a certified livestock appraiser and join the Working Ranch Women's of America group. Tom and Cheryl Raising and Registering Highlands have been since 1987. That was the year I was born. They built their herd up over 300 head with bloodlines from Baxter Berry, Jack Stroh, Trumhow, Ira and Fransfeld, Frank and Charlene Mealing, and Thorbarton Ranch, to name a few. Those are all old-timey out west good stuff, right? You know if you know. When I witnessed 100 head of grazing highlands, and everybody should at one point in their life if you get a chance, over those hills of wherever the hell, southeast Montana. It's an amazing sight. Over the years, Larsens have worked hard to improve the efficiency of their highlands and paid off in 2001 when one of their bulls was garnered the top spot in the Thorbarton Performance Test in 2002. Another one of their bulls was runner-up. Through the years, they crossed highlands with Hereford, Shorthorn, Angus, Brahma, and Longhorn. Their favorite cross was the Highland Longhorn due to its longevity and ability to utilize large pastures and efficiency. Many of these cows have been Highland Longhorn crosses. I can attest to the wonderful qualities of the Highland Longhorn cross cow because one of the breed, she had one. This guy bought one that was a half Longhorn. Larsens creatively marketed and promoted their cattle in many ways and displaying them in Highland games and selling breeding stock to 4-H'ers. Recently, a young lady awarded Reserve Grand Champion against over all breeds for a heifer purchased from Larsens. The rodeo industry has been a good market to the Larsens as well. They sold Highlands and crossed for roping stock and bucking bulls. A few of their Highlands won champion bucking bull awards and have been published on the cover of publications. Currently, Larsens run about 130 head of Highlands. They use registered Highland bulls on their cows, which are hardy and well adapted to local rangeland conditions. They selected Highlands that are rangier due to their local rangeland conditions and need to move over ground to graze. Their animals thrive here and do well in many environments. Above all, Tom and Cheryl raise beef. They market their steers primarily to feeders who know how they'll feed out and feed out well. These buyers return annually for more. Larsens are hoping that the Highland legacy that they have worked their whole lives on will be carried out by their daughter's family. The next generation already owns some Highlands. In fact, the TCL bloodline is scattered all over the country. True fact. I'd like Tom and Cheryl to rise, and if you could come up here and wave to everybody and say hi, that'd be great. One time in my life I met these people, and I'm telling you right away.
What's that? I'm hard of hearing.
Tom says he's hard of hearing. Say a few words about Highland cattle or what it's like to be back here and up here tonight.
Well, I just appreciate all this and everything, and we've always liked Highland cattle the best, and that's kind of why we stay with them, I guess. I'm not too good at public speaking, but that's what we do.
That's why you married Cheryl.
Thank you guys so much. means a lot to us. It's been a long time, since 1948, that Larsen family first got their first Highlands. We sure do appreciate it. Thank you.